Welcome to the Last Mile Profits videocast, the last word on the last mile. It's that time of year again. Let's have a look ahead to what the last mile has in prospect for us in 2023.
Modern Expo provides an integral ecosystem of screen operating lockers, screenless autonomous solutions, refrigerated lockers, and even personal parcel lockers powered by in-house developed software.
Well, Marek, we recently had a look at your 2022 predictions, and to be fair, they weren't too bad. You managed to get most of them right. I'd be interested to know whether you think 2023 is going to be such a year. So what do you have up your sleeve for us this time?
Hello, Peter. Hello, everyone. I think this year is going to be quite specific. And given what's happening on our eastern border, I think efficiency is going to be a big topic. Both efficiency in terms of natural resources, in terms of people, and everything associated with that. So I think one of the themes is going to be how to be more efficient, how to use less energy, how to use less human resource. So I'd say that's going to be a topic that is probably quite specific, but not only will it be important in 2023, I think that is going to continue. So that'll be the first theme.
I would say, like a good fortune teller, you've spread the net quite wide there because you've kind of covered sustainability and you've kind of covered labour shortages there. So I can confidently predict you've probably got that one right.
But then to make it perhaps a little bit more risky, or maybe not, because I believe in this, I think the thing that is going to be associated with that is going to be out of home. So PUDOs, parcel shops, access points if you're American, or lockers. I think this is going to be a continuing topic in terms of its importance. You know, the interest that we're getting at Last Mile Experts is incredible. Everyone and their dog is asking about how to set up a locker network. So I think that there's going to be more and more development in that space, Peter. And I would expect probably two things. Number one, there are going to be newbies coming into the market. When I say newbies as far as lockers are concerned, because there's still a few really big operators that actually don't have much presence on the locker side.
Always a bit of a surprise to hear that. You know, you'd think that this is a hot place to be playing right now.
You know what? You're right. But let's take North America as a classic example. That's what you'd say. But they're light years behind in terms of out of home, even though it's generally a very advanced economy. So I think it is changing. And there is huge interest both from large players who already have out-of-home experience but not enough lockers, and from players who realize that they have to develop out-of-home per se. And actually that, I reckon, Peter, brings us very nicely onto the next topic, which is the circular economy, Second Life. And the reason I mention that is one of the most dynamic players in that space, Vinted, has really decided to put their trust in lockers. So I think that, you know, it just shows that this is an area that, if I'm going to be sort of pretty certain in terms of the prediction working, it has to be that one. But I'm going to add something which is a Second Life. I don't know what you think about that, but the idea of selling secondhand clothes, other items that are no longer useful for you.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more consumer interest and certainly consumer knowledge of sustainability. And I think the consumer is steering this. We're in a really good position as consumers to actually see what the impact of our purchasing is having on the environment because of the visibility that's given to us by the suppliers. So, yeah, I think, you know, we'll see advances there in packaging. That's certainly for sure. Less packaging or more smarter packaging and more reusable packaging. But you're right. Yes, this throwaway fashion habit that we've all got into, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a thing that we'd look back on 10 years from now and saying, were we really that crude with our raw materials? Goodness me, what were we thinking?
Absolutely. And I reckon, Peter, there's going to be three trends, because you mentioned another good one. You can have the Nordics and places like that where they really are conscious about ecological issues. And there it's going to be consumer driven in the sense that people say, no, we don't want to have ecological sort of unnecessary ecological waste. They're going to look at packaging as well, the second issue that you raised, because, you know, I still sometimes get an item the size of this, I don't know if you can see this mobile phone, in a box 10 times bigger. But I think there's going to be another trend, which is going to be a trend based on what's happening in Ukraine, where you have just in Poland, as you know, maybe 3,000 Ukrainian immigrants. They're not going to always find it so easy. So they're going to be probably very interested in Second Life items. So I think that there'll be those two simultaneous trends, plus actually, Peter, even in developed markets, you know, we're seeing that people are finding it tougher than it was.
Yeah. The recession will certainly play a part in that. You know, people are upgrading their phones on a 2-yearly basis, and the ones they're getting rid of have perfectly good batteries, have fine cameras, have great memories still. Screens are protected and unscratched. They're throwing away perfectly good cameras, perfectly good phones. So yes, I can see in your example there, which you held up, that's one area where Second Life will certainly play a bigger part. Yes.
So I think, we're in agreement there. Let's see what happens, but I'm cautiously optimistic that those trends will develop. I think another one is a continued trend of e-commerce getting more and more involved in the last mile. And although, we've seen this year that Amazon has been cutting down on staff, they're rationalizing, but rationalizing doesn't mean moving out of those areas. So I think there's going to be continued involvement. So in terms of the really big e-commerces, Alibaba has Cainiao. I think they're going to expand, particularly in Europe. Amazon is going to continue to do their thing. And the local heroes like eMag, Trendyol, Allegro will also continue to seek to be more and more, I would say, involved and to steer the customer experience and the operational capacity in the last mile.
I'm going to call you out on a couple of those, Marek, because a year ago you did mention, or you did touch on some of those. You're playing safe there. I would say that for 2023, let's hope there's no global panics, there's no great shipping disasters, and there's no volcanoes blowing up in our faces. And 2023 is a great year for all of you out there and for the last mile in general. Thank you for watching the Last Mile Profits video. For more free analysis of the last mile, please like, follow and subscribe below to ensure you are notified every time we upload new content.